Hello, I am Abdiel Alfonso Rincón Cantú, and this is the video for the evidence tree of human body care.
Hi, I'm Arturo Murillo Espinosa.
Hello, my name is Luiz Guillermo Falcón Govea.
Hi, my name is Eduardo Espinosa Pascual.
Artificial insemination and cloning. What is artificial insemination? Artificial insemination is a medical procedure in which a catheter, a small syringe, is inserted through the cervix into the uterus to directly deposit a sperm sample. Why is artificial insemination done? Artificial insemination helps with infertility. It helps the sperm pass possible obstacles in the woman's reproductive system, or if the man's sperm count is low or not strong enough to swim into the cervix. How is artificial insemination done? Intrauterine insemination is done at the doctor's office. The woman is given a fertility medication and a semen sample of the man is modified in the lab to improve its effectiveness. It will be put into a catheter, which is a small syringe, and dispensed inside of the woman's uterus.
Hi, I'm Luiz Guillermo Falcón Govea, and we are going to talk about how is artificial insemination done. What is artificial insemination? I don't know. That part doesn't belong to me. But how it's done? Uh, the text says, intracervical insemination is done at a home, especially syringe is filled with the man's semen. It is then inserted into the woman's vagina and the special syringe is slowly emptied inside the is insemination. Okay, it's a lot of complex words, right? But basically, you fill a glass or anything really, something to hold the semen, and then that thing is inserted into the woman's vagina. So instead of making a baby through the sexual relationship, uh, this is done by just inserting the essentials, the semen into the vagina. So it starts making a baby. And what's the success of artificial insemination? Well, it depends because there are like two principal ways of doing it. One is at home, and the other is at the doctor's office. Uh, we can see it's about less than 50% in both cases. Um, at home is basically you buy the equipment to do it and try it at home. The success rate is about 37.9%, and at the doctor's office is the same. You pay, and the process is pretty much the same, but the doctor is assuring it's done right. So the success rate is about 40.5%. What's the cost of artificial insemination? In Mexico, a low complexity case costs between 1,200 pesos and 3,900 pesos, and a high complexity case between 9,900 pesos and 2,300 pesos. The low complexity is basically injecting it into the vagina and the fecundal in vitro. It's a high complexity where the semen is directly inserted into as Excel, so it's more direct and for more complicated cases. But yeah, this one is very expensive. For last, what is cloning? Cloning is the process of generating a genetically identical copy of an organism. It is often done to duplicate genes, cells, DNA, or tissues for a biological research. Basically, cloning is you take DNA from a person, or it has been done already with animals, like Dolly the sheep. You take DNA from that sheep, and inserted into an ovilus, so the baby it's born that borns is identical to the original sheep or human or dog or whatever animal. This means he will look the same and have the same DNA characteristics. And, and yet this can be useful for different reasons to improving health and stop diseases or things like that. I would like to talk about how cloning is doing or what different kinds of cloning there are. I would love to talk about that, but sadly I cannot. That part belongs to another partner. That has been all, and thank you.
What are the types of cloning? Where there are three different types of cloning. The first is the gene cloning, where genes or segments of DNA are cloned. Many genes are produced using this method and are used for studying. The second method is the reproductive cloning, where entire animals are cloned and used for research purposes. And the third is the therapeutic cloning, where umbilical stem cord cells are cloned to produce healthy tissues in order to replace affected or damaged tissue of one patient. But you may be asking how cloning is done. Well, in the gene cloning, a gene from one organism is inserted into another, and it's subjected to ideal conditions to promote its reproduction. While in the reproductive cloning, the DNA of a somatic cell is put into an empty ovule in order to fertilize it. Then it converts into an embryo, which is an exact copy of the being from which the original cell was taken. And then it's implanted into another animal to make it grow. While the therapeutic cloning shares the same process of the reproductive cloning, placing a somatic cell of an ovule, but instead of being put into another host, it stores in a lab in order to extract the stem cells that are produced. How expensive is the stem cell therapy? Well, it may varies depending of the procedure choose. For example, using peripheral blood of the patient may cost approximately 20,000 Mexican pesos, but with more invasive procedures such as bone marrow and adipose tissue, it may range between 305,000 and 712 Mexican pesos. What is a cord blood banking? It is the process of collecting the blood of the umbilical cord and after extracting its stem cells and other cells of the immune system to freeze and store them for future medical usage.
Well, now that we know what is cord blood banking, why is cord blood banking done? The blood inside of the umbilical cord has a lot of cells that helps when the baby is born. So the cells in the blood of the baby and the mother are better in the future to treat diseases and problems than those of a donor because it has their same genetic information, because those cells have the same information as them. They come from their body, so they are better helping them in the future if they have a problem, a health problem. But how is cord blood banking done? Well, first, the blood of the mother is tested to see if it is clean and it has no diseases it can transmit to other people. When the baby is born, the umbilical cord is cut when it stops palpitating or 5 to 10 minutes after the baby is born in case it has no problem, if he can breathe and he is crying. Blood is extracted from the umbilical cord with a syringe. It is stored, it is saved, and then it is tested for contamination in case it was contaminated when it was taken. And then a process is made to reduce the number of cells that are not really helpful and separate them from the useful cells that actually can help treat a disease in the future. And these cells, when the good cells, when they are separated from the useless cells, are stored in a fridge where they are kept in case it is needed in the future to treat the mother, the baby, or her family. How much money does it cost to do this? Well, the first year it of course changes depending of where you go, but it can be between 20,000 and 40,000 pesos. But then each year, every birthday of the baby, another fee is charged, approximately 2,000 pesos, to maintain its storage. And if you pay it, they keep it. But if you stop paying it, they will stop freezing it and it will no longer work. That's their business.